Hello and welcome back to the White Pube podcast, or welcome for the first time. What are you doing here? Lovely to have you, but oh my god, hi. I'm ZM, and if you don't know, then the White Pube is the collaborative identity of myself and my collaborator, Gabrielle de la Puente. I am based in London, Gab is based in Liverpool, and between us for the past 9 years we have been writing about art and exhibitions and culture at large, not just within the realm of fine art or visual art, but theatre, music, film, telly, books, whatever takes our fancy on any given Sunday. It is very much not just limited to the art world. We've been writing about that on the website, thewhitepube.com or .co.uk, and this podcast feed is where we publish audio versions of those texts so that you can listen to us read the texts, our words, in our own voice, which is maybe that's a bit nicer, a bit more personable. I'm making a specific effort to labour those 2 points today, that this is, my words read in my own voice, and also that we write about things beyond exhibitions, because this week's text is about, I think it was an opera, a 30-minute opera, but it's, not exhibition, it is musical performance. I don't know, there's something going on with it that I feels really like, it feels like it slots into art making. I can understand it as art quite well, and it doesn't necessarily change the nature. I'm not like shoving it into a brand new category by thinking about it as fine art, contemporary art, but it was at the Royal Opera House and it is musical, so let's call it an opera. And it is also about voice and what it means to have a voice, what it means to lose your voice. Because I'll go on to explain this when I read the text, but this week's text is a review of the Sound Voice project at the Royal Opera House that was on for, I think, a week or so, down in the Lindbury Theatre. And the Sound Voice project, in this current iteration, because I think it's been on in different places before, but this iteration of it, there were 3 performances made by and with people living with voice loss, in various different ways. I will cut the intro because this is now 3 minutes and I actually explain all this in the text, so there's no point doubling up, but stay tuned all the way until the end and I will give you the emoji, which is a little game we play. So if you listen all the way to the end, I'll tell you an emoji to comment on the Instagram post for this when this goes out on Sunday, and if you listen, even if it's after Sunday, just drop the little emoji, and it's just nice to know who's read it, if anyone's read it, if anyone has listened to it all the way to the end. It's a bit more personable to see who is on the other end of these things. Makes it feel like more of a conversation for me, because I often feel like there is no one listening, even if there is. But I'll get on to reading. Sometimes it's hard to make direct eye contact with art. It's hard to meet it on its own terms, for many reasons. 1. I often know what I'm going to see before I see it. It is rare that I walk into a gallery, into a room, and feel surprised by what's in there. If I am surprised, I am surprised that I'm surprised. 2. The thing I have to work out is myself. The work is the work. I have to come correct. I have to figure out what correct is. I have to measure the distance. 3. Battering myself into submission before art is a thankless task. 4. I can look and feel nothing. 5. I can look and feel naked. 6. All of this is dealing in an abstract realm that only makes sense to me. I am on the inside. I am a poor judge. 7. I sometimes wonder if I put art on the table to avoid confronting something else. Like, I write about this thing, but the thing is a proxy for something else, and the else is difficult to approach. So maybe I am actually writing about the else and projecting the else onto the thing and pretending they are the same, but they're not. And that actually isn't very fair to the thing, is it? I am downstairs at the Royal Opera House, waiting to go down even further into the Lindbury Theatre. It is a cold evening. I am bang on time, but no one is in the lobby waiting to go in, so I think I am late. I go through the doors and join a small crowd at the top of the stairs. There are maybe 15 of us, not including the usher. Everyone is silent, waiting, looking at him. He is in an anonymous suit, holding a walkie-talkie. He nods. He waits. We wait. It is silent. I can hear my own heartbeat. We wait for so long, I start to think something has gone wrong. But then I hear something. A voice is speaking down in the theatre. It is saying, "This is my voice," and it sounds small and far away. The usher nods, turns, and we are walking down many stairs very softly. The theatre floor is dark. We are in a corridor made of enormous dark curtains. We walk around. The curtain curls a circle. We stop. We wait. It isn't silent. Different voices are saying, "This is my voice. This is my voice. This is my voice." We wait for so long, I think about what is going on the other side of the curtains. Then silence. Then the curtains open. The curtains part very suddenly, and I am shocked. And inside the curtained circle, there are spotlights on one row of chairs lined up along the edge of the circle. When the crowd sits, the spotlights dim and turn off, and we are all sitting in the pitch black. It isn't scary, but it is dark for so long, I forget the edges of my body. I forget my body itself. Words flicker up on a screen in front of us. It is actually 3 screens. 3 projections are stacked on top of each other. I can see each one through the other. The words tell me that this is a digital installation with 3 performances. It's called the Sound Voice Project. The 3 performances are made by and with people living with voice loss. The first is a dual aria, a song sung by 2, called Paul. In 2017, Paul Jameson was diagnosed with motor neuron disease. He has progressively lost his speech. After hours of interviews about what Paul's voice means to him, a composer, Hannah Conway, and writer, Hazel Gould, wrote this aria. The aria is sung by Paul and Roderick Williams. On the libretto, they are both called Paul, Paul 1 and Paul 2. The aria sings out 2 different versions of Paul from 2 different bodies. They slip back and forth from each other across the screens, voices singing in and out across each other and over 2, echoing, expanding. The lyrics speak about the way a voice carries a body along with it, a person, a self, about what is lost when that relationship between voice and body, person, self, when that comes unlinked, when it changes, and when the body, person, self is surprised by what it has changed into. It is one song sung by 2 performers. They are singing to each other, I think. They are one voice singing between 2 bodies. The screen between them is a veil, sparkling and wet. The second is a performance by 2 choirs called I Left My Voice Behind. One choir is live, made up of people who have had laryngectomies, a surgery to remove their voice box. The second choir is digital, constructed from recordings of people before their surgeries. Their faces appear large on screen, fading away into the distance until they are tiny dots that come together in the shape of a digital face. Uncanny, because it is someone and no one and everyone, all at the same time. The 2 choirs feel similar. The voices shrink into the crowd, become one that sings with the other, making two. It is strange and beautiful to listen to two choirs with such distinct and different sounds, tones, qualities, textures. The digital choir sounds heavy with auto-tune, even though I suspect it isn't, but it is reacting to the live choir, changing in response, becoming more stark or more smooth. I can see qualities in the sound that I am surprised by. The third is Tanya. In 2020, Tanya Beige was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer that was growing behind her vocal cords. A week later, she had a laryngectomy to remove her voice box. Tanya is a performance sung by a recording of Tanya before her surgery, Tanya after her surgery, and a third professional soprano. The recording Tanya is speaking to her two children, explaining what has happened, what is going to happen, describing how she feels and what she's expecting, what she hopes for. It looks like it is shot on her phone camera. She is speaking to her children, directly addressing them. Her recorded face fades into her stage face, and her entire physicality has changed. Her recorded face is posed in a comforting smile. Her stage face is completely neutral. I feel closer to this second face, like something has been lowered and there is nothing between us. I've stopped thinking about the fact that there are 3 projected screens. I am only looking into her eyes. Between Tanya and the soprano, they describe the pain of losing her voice, the fear that she has been completely altered beyond recognition to her children, that she can no longer comfort them or calm them. These things that are so important to her, changed and lost. Her voice is a vital tether that has been taken. I'm so close to her pain. This is so intimate. I almost flinch. I don't have any right to flinch. I feel like it is important to hear this thing as this thing, not as the else. To bear witness, to hear. When the performances are over, we return to darkness and silence. It is dark for so long, I forget the lights will come back up eventually. When they do, I look around the curtain circle at everyone else. We are all blinking and dazed, looking at each other. We leave slowly, without the usher. Back up at street level, I walk to the tube station and I start to cry. It's so cold, my face is so numb. It takes me a while to realise that I'm actually genuinely crying. I don't know how to process the work I saw. Saying I was there to bear witness to it doesn't quite cover it. I feel like it has stuck with me. I can't stop thinking about what it might mean, how I might relate to it, or find some way to close the distance between me and it. For a long time, I've said that I don't know what I think until I write it. That doesn't do a perfect job of describing the dynamic in place between me, my thoughts and my writing. Sometimes I am surprised by what comes out. Writing is a process of discovery and novelty. More often than not, I know what I think. Writing is just the way I am most likely to express it in a way I am happy with. It is more likely to be perfect in writing. I cannot trust my mouth. I cannot trust my head. My thoughts come out of my fingertips. I know where the keys are without looking. I reach for them and they are there, where I expect them to be and as I expect them to be. I type so fast, sometimes my laptop is too slow, and the lag is frustrating because I don't like the feeling that there is something getting in the way. I am attached to this. My fingertips, my hands, they are a productive, expressive tool. If I lost this in any way, I fear I would never be able to think ever again. Without this, without the ability to write through them, my thoughts would hang floating in the air in front of me. I write to catch them. Sometimes it is trying my chances and taking a lucky shot. Other times I am looking through the scope of a long-range sniper, trawling through the open ocean with a big net to see what I find. I know where it is, and I am hunting it down in the dark, moving silent and deadly. I cannot trust my mouth. I cannot trust my head. I can forget my body in the dark. My voice is at my fingertips. As I'm writing this, I am very aware that I will record myself reading it aloud. I am very aware that you might be listening to me read it right now. You might be listening to my voice, not seeing my voice. I feel like there is no space to floss between them, hearing or reading. There is no difference. It is the same thing. The thing is the words, or the act of finding them. This week I am obsessed with writing one particular thing. I have this drive to write it, this hyper-focus. It is all I can think about. I cannot pull myself away from my laptop. I stay at my desk until 11 p.m. It is just me and the rats in this basement underneath the ridiculous palace I work in. If I was dramatic, if I was sentimental, I would say I am exercising something. I have to express it. I have to get it out. But that's not quite it. It is like scratching an itch. It is instinct. I am barely trying to do it. I have written 23,000 words in 3 days. I don't have a choice about keeping it in because when I am not writing, typing, I am thinking about it. The words are forming and I am stuck until they come out. I have to find somewhere to decant them, somewhere to spill them. Otherwise they'd rot inside me. Something might go sour. I will reabsorb them and they'll come back up, but this time like heartburn. The way I am writing feels like I am possessed. It also feels like that thing Stevie Nicks said. Fleetwood Mac made their best music when they were in their worst shape, or something like that. Rumours came out of their collective pain, anger, all of it, everything. That's why it's so good. They held it all up like a sacrificial offering to make something beautiful. This has been said in so many ways by so many people, it has lost all sense of its own meaning. It has become an aphorism, a truism. It is now trite. All the same. I think that the worst cannot come in, come out, pass by like a shooting star. Pain transforms you. Energy never dies, it only transforms. Good work exists everywhere. It is very attainable. It's just a question of how and when we are driven to it. When we have something to prove to ourselves, at an extreme, at the edge, when we just want to stop thinking, itching to scratch, when the inside of our mind is like a snow globe liquid, shifting and turning and shimmering. Yes, that is when we have no other option but to turn it all out. Something like that. That was the review. Thank you very much for listening. For the emoji, before I leave you, please can I have an emoji? If you scroll all the way to the end and the bit where the symbols are, there should also be a bunch of coloured squares, like red, orange, green, blue, whatever. There should also be a square that is black on the inside and it's got a white outline. Please can I have that? I can't explain why, but for some reason that feels like the most appropriate. That was the energy, not just through the work that I experienced, but my reaction to it, my attempt to write towards it. That feels like it fits the best. I wonder if that makes sense to anyone other than me. If it does make sense to anyone other than me, then let me know. But even if it doesn't make sense, that's the emoji for this week. I will leave you to the rest of your Sunday. I hope you've had a really good weekend. I hope you're having a lovely time. And we are so close to Christmas, no? Yeah, we are. About a month away, right? I'm going to be taking some of December off. away from the Sunday texts, because I have had a year, so I'm going to take a bit of time. I don't know when I will last write the Sunday text. I think there's one coming up that I need to work on mid-December, but I don't think Gab is going to take a break. I will take a break. So hear from me a couple more times this year, but then I will disappear. That is a heads up. I'm sure no one is actually actively waiting on me, but just in case you are, that's my plan for Christmas. So yeah, I'll see you maybe 1 or 2 more times, and then I'll disappear. But there you go. That's all. That was the text. That was the emoji. I will leave you to the rest of your Sunday. Have a lovely time. Bye.